Hello and welcome back to Nelson All Over Cards. We are here with a brand new Marvel Champions hero. Villain does not even know who it is. I was not as self-restrained as Villain, but are you ready to do a blind react to the Master of Magnetism, Magneto? We got white suit
Yes.
Magneto. So that is what we are going to be taking a look at. Neither of us, I just looked at the article because I have self-control issues, but neither of us have looked at any of the cards, so we're going to go through this. We're going to do a blind first impression. Now I would like to say that our impressions are allowed to change, but this is the initial gut reaction. And you typically, and I guess I didn't ask this before we started the video, you will typically do a deeper dive later, maybe either today or later in the week, for the hero. Is that still the plan?
Yes, probably tonight or tomorrow if everything goes well.
Excellent. So if you're watching after this initially comes out, I will have linked that video down below in the video description so you can easily navigate over to Villain's channel. Make sure you follow him as well. And then I will probably either this weekend or early next week come out with my top 5 decks that I want to try with Magneto. But I am too pumped to do any more preamble. So let's dive in and talk about the Master of Magnetism. Now, do you have Mags up on your screen?
Yes, I've just opened it up. I think the art's pretty different from what I expected if we were to get him. And I want to shout out to people. We were literally just recording the podcast and someone comes screaming, "There's a new hero!" So which is
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
seen it yet.
Yeah, we finished the podcast. We were about to play a game, and then, well, here we are. So I'm honestly kind of shocked that this is not Beast. What are your thoughts around that?
I really wanted Beast. I felt like Beast deserved it, but at the same time, they normally do like the gender thing, right? So I was kind of expecting Mystique or something, maybe like a plot twist, but
Mm.
this is one of the biggest names in Marvel, which I don't think that's an overstatement. Everyone, in terms of villains, loves Magneto. So really interesting as a hero. This is our second Nebula.
This is our second Nebula, and what I assume you mean by that is a villain that's also playable as a hero. So Magneto, I am looking at just kind of this initial paragraph that talks about the background of Magneto, and then also I see in bold with his ability to pull magnetic cards from his deck at will, which is very similar to the mechanics that we see in the villain, where we're adding magnet counters and then discarding to get them. So I do like how both Magneto and Nebula have some sort of parallel to their hero form, and so it sounds like we're gonna get some of that. But let's dive into some of these cards. Now we're gonna I was like looking at like the 5-card spoiler thing, but let's look at Magneto. So magnetic pull.
Okay.
Magneto is a 2/2/2 stat line, hand size of 5, hit points of 10. So very kind of standard there. He has a
Completely in the middle.
yeah, completely in the middle. Magnetic pull action. Discard cards from the top of your deck until a magnetic card is discarded. Add that card to your hand. Limit once per round. So pretty much a 6 hand size, assuming that you're not going to deck out with those magnet cards.
That is huge and screams digging deep to me. I'm just going to say it
100%,
immediately.
yeah. White Fox digging deep. Let's discard some cards. Also, I could see just initial gut reaction. I could see this being, skewing towards the higher end of a deck size. So you're not, decking out as frequently, because like you have some cards with, like at Warlock, you have a lot of discarding cards with the Mystic stuff, and you can run higher card counts there. But this seems to be even more frequently triggered than like Warlock's magic attack or anything like that. We'll see what the magnetic cards are, but at the very worst, it's a extra resource in your hand. So I mean, that's big. That's nice.
Unless they don't have a resource icon on them, but they're probably surely going to. This seems very strong at a glance. Yeah, I'm so excited to see what else they are.
Yeah, I mean, Magneto with digging deep, because you could, I mean, best case scenario, it's +4 cards, right? Like, and an ally.
Yeah, it's good.
That's pretty cool. It is important to note here that Magneto does have the X-Men trait, and so all those X-Men synergies are online with Mags. He's a powerful mutant back when he was the X-Men foe, and he's still equally as powerful as their friend. So does that mean that we're going to get the... I would consider Magneto one of the top three hardest villains in the game? Is that going to be with this sentence? Do you think he's going to be one of the top three best heroes in the game?
I mean, with an action that is basically drawing a card and maybe getting you digging deep, I mean, his hero card so far doesn't say he isn't to me. So,
Yeah.
you never know.
Alrighty. You want to talk about the alter ego side here?
Yeah, so let's bring up the alter ego side. So, is yeah, he's got free recovery, pretty standard. So a lot of really average stuff here. Hand
Yeah.
size 6, obviously. And this is what I'm curious to see is his ability. It's called Survivor. It's a response. He's got the mutant trait as well. So like the X-Men thing, all those trait related cards are online. But his response is after you change to this form, shuffle the top 3 cards of your discard pile into your deck. That seems really, really good. It's not like mind blowing, like I get an extra card, but there's going to be some really interesting combos there, especially if like you've maybe blocked with an ally, you can flip down back in your deck as an option. There's all sorts of stuff you can do there. Maybe even play specific cards in order and then flip down. Yeah, that's really curious. What do you think of that?
I like this a lot. My initial reaction is the shenanigans that we've seen with Domino and like Professor X or Nick Fury, where you can recur those allies over and over. I mean, heck, even digging deep, right? Digging deep, White Fox, those kind of
Yeah,
things. If you flip down, shuffle those back in, then trigger the magnetic pull ability to hit those discarded cards again. And now what I'm starting to wonder is, are we going to see cards that are not magnetic that also lean into the discard strategy? Because if you're being able to inflate your deck, it sounds like we're going to see some more cards that are going to lean into that strategy. But I think that this is really strong. It takes a little bit of sequencing, but not too hard. I mean, like the
yeah.
biggest thing that you're going to, the easiest thing to trigger is an ally that you just chump blocked with. It's on
Yeah,
top
I'm
of your
thinking
discard.
White Fox because that's kind of digging deep as an ally, right?
Yep.
That's gonna be so powerful.
Yep.
And it also reminds me of Wasp's alter ego ability a bit too, to get those cards back
Oh
into
yeah.
your deck.
Yeah. A
And
little
that's
bit.
a fun ability.
Yeah, and a little bit less flexible than Wasp, but it is the shop top three. Um, that's really interesting. Now I really want to play Magneto against Mysterio, which I guess
Oh, that's
like
gonna be interesting.
no, I guess like the oh well no, because whenever you would discard, you would deal and draw, so you get a
Yeah,
ton of cards.
card.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
fun. Okay, all right, that'd be really cool. Let's go ahead and talk about with impressive tools are Magneto's helmet. We knew that this one was coming. Magneto's helmet, 3 cost upgrade. That's pretty expensive, but superpower training says who cares? Magneto's helmet, he gains steady, which I believe is no, he just gets steady
Prevents
right off the
confused.
bat. It prevents confuse. That's right. Uh, yeah, it's a resource. Exhaust Magneto's helmet to generate a wild resource for a magnetic card. Very interested to see what some of these magnetic cards look like. Um, seems a
This is one of
little
them.
bit. Yeah, this is one of them. I'm guessing it's gonna be like Iceman, and we're gonna the majority of the kit. I wonder if we're gonna get anything that deals with it. But 3 cost upgrade. Um, my initial gut reaction is that I would have expected this to be 2 cost.
I mean, steady is quite good. Maybe that's what they're factoring into it. It's very scenario dependent,
True.
and he does get a magnetic card every turn minimum if he's in hero form, because you just discard for it, unless you've got none left. But um, so you are going to get to use this, and it's interesting to me that it's a wild resource. I wonder if resources will matter for the magnetic cards, or if it's just
Mm,
just giving you that resource because why not?
yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm surprised it doesn't have the item trait since we just got Jubilee, who can get items in play. But yeah, we'll have to see how we go for this and what the magnetic cards look like. I think for me to pass any final kind of judgment. But yeah, I'm surprised it's not 2 cost.
Yeah. Okay, so the armor is next. Let's read what the armor, which I'm going to go ahead and take a guess that this is also magnetic. It is. Oh, that's okay. Read this to us because this is cool. I read ahead
I've
because
not
I'm
read.
impatient again.
I've not read this. I was waiting patiently. Uh, for my magnetic card. So Magneto's armor and magnetic trait, same as helmet, 2 cost upgrade. Response after you pull your magnetic pull ability. After you resolve your magnetic pull ability. If you discarded, okay, I see this again. After you discard at least one of the following resource icons, you get different bonuses. So if you discard from any of the cards you're discarding, if it's a mental resource, you get +1 forwarding. If it's a physical, +1 attack. if it's a energy +1 defense. So if you see one of each go by, you just get all those bonuses. So he's a 2/2/2 hero, but with his armor, he could be a 3/2/2 or a 3/3/3 if you get lucky, you know. So that's really fascinating. And you're always going to use that magnetic pull ability, right? Definitely if you've played this.
Yeah.
It's
My my
interesting.
my rules question to you. This does not say printed resource. If you discard a wild, do you get it? If you discard a digging deep, do you get each one of those? No, you have to discard that exact resource.
Yeah, it's going to be like Legion.
Oh, that's sad. Oh well, but I mean, still like really good stuff. Especially if you kind of know what is going to be in your deck with the survivor ability on the alter ego side.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting. We've seen heroes that want to lean into one resource. This starts to feel like a hero that wants to diversify their resources, which is
Which is kind of
less
like
common.
Jubilee.
Oh yeah. That's
So
fun.
they've done that kind of twice here, something they're playing with. I think this is really interesting. My first thought is go all out, you know, the leadership card, which wants all your stats boosted because it combines the value for an attack or something.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
think that's I don't think that'll be his go-to, but it will definitely be interesting to do with him.
Yeah, and any readying at this point, right? So any repurpose, we may get some tech, maybe not any tech, but like repurpose or anything that readies is going to be really nice here. So that's the armor. Discarding so many cards from the top of your deck, you may be worried that Magneto will end up with extra encounter cards, but thankfully, Asteroid M can help you get your cards back. Asteroid M is
Okay.
a 2-cost support with a wild resource icon. It's a magnetic card. Alter Ego action, we can exhaust Asteroid M, shuffle the topmost magnetic card in your discard pile into your deck, and heal 1 damage from your identity. Okay, so now you have the Survivor and Asteroid M combo, and you can get, you probably go, yeah, Survivor when you flip down, but I mean that's pretty cool. Like you can almost guarantee on a flip up that you will have a magnetic card in your deck for your magnetic pull ability, so you'll be able to hit it regardless.
Yeah, it really depends how many magnetic cards there are here. I'm slightly underwhelmed that the ability just puts it, you know, into your my deck and I get one healing. That it seems kind of slow to pay off, but it depends how good some of these magnetic cards are. So interesting, very interesting. I like that they're leaning more into his kind of shuffling and discarding. So that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering if we get a resource magnetic card. I think that could change the equation
That could be
pretty
huge.
significantly. Yeah. So Asteroid M there and can get your cards back. Combine that with his ability to shuffle 3 more. As far as events, here we are. Magneto has a number of handy superpower with potent kicker effects. So that right there sentence makes me think we're getting a Duff Focus reprint. Uh, that maybe we thought it may come in Nightcrawler, but I don't know. That seems teasing to me. But let's talk about Electromagnetic Blast. Villain, read this one to us.
Okay, so this is a 2-cost event, magnetic, superpower, and fort traded. So that's going to hit a lot of things, everything from Extreme to Death Focus to Sense of Justice uh, to your it was the helmet that was a resource generator. So that's really interesting. So very discountable. Hero action for remove 3 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, so it's very much like clear the area or something like that, you may discard an no, you may discard an attachment with the text hero action or hero response. That is crazy. That is like everyone loves Sunfire. If I'm playing Vision or Shadowcat, I feel like I'm cheating if I get to rip away an attachment.
Yeah.
This is just his forwarding event, and he can put this back into his deck. This is going to be very good.
Yeah, and feels pretty thematic as well, just kind of like pulling away some superpowers or some of those attachments. I like this a lot. I like this a lot, especially as we are seeing more attachments that are just so brutal to get rid of. It can be pretty mean, but 2 cost 3 threat removal from a scheme. Love that in solo, and then also with this hero response, hero action, get rid of your universal weapons, we are ones. Any of those are just like
Yeah.
be real nice.
It's not quite as efficient if you don't have an attachment to get rid of, but like I say, it's very discountable. It's, you know, it strikes me kind of like Iceman's you know,
Yeah,
chill out card.
yeah. And to note, we are looking at a pretty decent cost curve so far. We have a 3 2 2 and then 2. So we're skewing higher on that on the cost. Uh distribution than I normally like, but we do sound like we have a lot of resource generators for those. Yeah, and this is nice because if there is something that you need to get rid of, then you can use either the survivor or asteroid M to shuffle those back in. So that'll be kind of interesting. But if you manage to clear this game entirely, yep. Meanwhile, metal shards, and these are all similarly named to the villain cards. So metal shards is the attack event. Attack, magnetic, superpower. I don't like. Okay, this is just a. It may be alphabetical order for the traits, but I don't like how thwart is the end and metal shards attack is the beginning. I don't know why that. Anyways, so 3 cost attack events. Attack, magnetic, superpower. Deal 7 damage to an enemy. This attack defeats an enemy. Gain a tough status card. Wow, interesting.
That is huge.
That is huge. It's also a little awkward, I think, right? Because 7 damage is so much. If you're running this with like marked, then I love it, right? If you can get overkill, but how frequently are you needing to deal 7 damage to a minion? I guess if you do the initial stage of the villain, you can also get a tough status card, which is really nice. I like the effect. It just feels a little awkward to me, like the cost to damage ratio.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like it. You know, if we look at the Magneto scenario as one example, but even like Ronan, some of those minions do have a lot of health, and sometimes it's more important to get rid of them than worry about the excess damage. The tough is a huge kind of factor here for me. You know, if we're talking about some of the cost to efficiency stuff we looked at, in our videos, I want to say almost a year ago now. I don't know if that's true.
Don't say it like that. It makes me
the
feel
the
old.
efficiency the efficiency of a tough means that I'm fine getting 4 or 5 damage out of this, and I don't feel like I've got a bad deal.
Okay.
And 7 damage is enough that I feel like if I paid 3 for it, 4 effective, it's not perfect. It's not swinging web kick, but it's still pretty good, especially with those ways to discount it. So it's not blowing my mind, but it is, I think, going to be a solid card.
It's also magnetic and superpower, right? So once you have your helmet, once you have Def Focus, which at this point I'm probably running Def Focus with mags regardless. You're looking at, you're still paying that cost, but you are able to pay it with the helmet, which makes it a lot easier to stomach. Plus, I mean, 7 damage, especially in solo, is, this is have at the. Is it have at the Valkyrie? It's kind of
Yes.
the same with overkills, and so, like, it's nice, especially since it can be discounted.
Yeah.
And then there's like there are dragons out there, right? Like there are cards with a lot of hit points, which can be pretty nasty. So metal shards also one that you can shuffle back into your deck, and then I'm guessing we may see a defense event. Oh yeah, no, not yet. But if you manage to
See what the
defeat
next
an
card is.
enemy, yep. It's clear Magneto will need to utilize his skills with Def Focus. So you've seen it
Yeah.
before. Here it is. Def Focus is that reprint that I was on. I don't think this is ever gonna get reprinted, team, but we got it. Max 1 per player, 1 cost upgrade. We previously saw it in Galaxy's Most Wanted. Hero action, exhaust Def Focus, reduce the resource cost of the next superpower card you play this turn by 1. Awesome card, so good for so many heroes. It's nice that we can get another copy of this from not Galaxy's Most Wanted. What do you think of the art on this one?
I am going to say a couple things about this.
Okay.
I don't like the art. I think it looks a little bit, I don't know, a little bit low detail, a little bit too grayish, all the cards combined. But something funny that I did say to you on your stream is when I hope when they reprint it, they'll do it on a character that doesn't have superpower traded
Yep.
events. And here's Archangel. His, I think, wings have the superpower trait, but none of his events do or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it seems like a weird choice of all the X-Men to go for. Yeah, what do you think about the art in that?
I don't love it. It feels. I think what it is I think I would like the art if it wasn't on a basic card, because I think the gray kind of leans or like kind of doesn't give enough of a stark contrast to the gray from Archangel. But like,
Yeah.
so I think if I can isolate the Archangel art, I like it, but the gray makes it feel very just like monotone. Um, so I think I still probably like the Doctor Strange version more, even though he doesn't have any superpower either. But I do like it. I hope that was a conscious choice by the FFG team because I would respect the heck out of
That's so
that.
funny.
Nice. Okay, so I mean that's what we got for Magneto. What are our initial thoughts before we dive into the leadership recon?
I was quite excited about the prospect of magnetic cards. I was expecting something really good to be there, something that like really stands out. And I guess stripping away attachments is actually, really good.
Yeah.
He'll have that more often than a normal hero would have one of their cards because he will discard until you find something, which just ups your chances of finding it a little bit, especially if you're shuffling it back in. Um, but like you say, the efficiency isn't mind blowing on the attack. It's good, but it's not always going to get the full value. Likewise with the forwarding thing, you're not always going to get the full value because there won't always be an attachment. Maybe it gets better in multiplayer, which is an interesting point. Some of the cards, like I said, the curse is kind of interesting. I do think with digging deep, we won't notice that much. I think he's automatically running those, even though they don't have the right icons for his armor. Resources are resources at the end of the day. So to me, right now, he's looking fairly well balanced, looking like a really flexible hero as well with that stat line and stuff, and attack and forwarding cards. So yeah, nothing's jumping out at me as this is the thing he must do apart from digging deep, but I don't feel like anything's off the table either.
I think that Magneto is going to be one of these really fast out of the gate heroes, which I mean, like the villain is the same, but think turn one, hand size of 6, you flip up to Magneto, hand size of 7 to start the game. If you hit a digging deep, you have even more resource. I mean, like there's a lot there, right? Like you can do a lot with 7 cards, and as you add more resources, you can do exponentially more in the game. And so it's it's I think the turns where you flip from alter ego to hero are going to be huge, and it feels like a hero that's going to want to flip fairly frequently to take advantage of Asteroid M, Survivor, all of these recursion cards. And I think you just run X. I mean, like he feels like he's meant to be there with Professor X, and thematically and historically, like that makes a lot of sense. Play X, confuse, jump block, flip down, Survivor, flip X back in, rinse, repeat. But yeah, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got some interesting stuff there. I'm curious, but he doesn't. He's not striking me as a third most powerful in the game hero. I will say that.
Not yet. We
Not
haven't
yet.
seen his defense card, which is always the scale tipper there. But
Yeah.
okay, so that's Mags. Let's talk about our blue. Yeah, we'll just talk about blue. Okay, so first up we have Cyclops. You want to read what Cyclops is doing?
Yeah, let's have a look at Cyclops. So this is a free cost ally, Scott Summers Cyclops, in case you are wondering. 2 fort, 2 attack. Just already free cost with 2 fort, 2 attack, pretty flexible. 2 health, a little bit low, so presumably this response is going to be amazing. X-Men trait, obviously. Response. After Cyclops enters play, choose an enemy. Until the end of the phase, increase the amount of damage the enemy takes from each attack by 1. So that's his exploit weakness kind of upgrade that you can put on an enemy, condensed into his ally card response. Okay, this card is a very powerful card. I'm going to say this, especially in 4 player. Now any leadership player can bring this.
Yep.
Is this limited until the end of the phase? Increase amount of time. What happens if I recur him a few times? What happens if I like rapid response him, ready him up? That could be absolutely mind blowing. War Machine with shoulder cannon is obviously the one that springs to mind, but this is, I'm gonna say it right now. This card, if you like tiers and rating things, this guy is right up there now.
This guy's very, very good. I think also the flavor text is great to me. My X-Men there, like that's iconic. X-Men trait is huge, triggering Utopia. And so I guess like I'm really surprised it's not when played from hand. This is because like what you're saying is you can combo this off of make the call, you can combo this off of the rapid response. Then I'm thinking, is it keep up the pressure, which is our new aggression side scheme where you go grab an event and the events do one more. I think that this is going to be a fun like 4-player, like let's recur Cyclops, keep up the pressure, and like can we do 200 damage in a turn type situation, like War Machine shooting with a billion shoulder this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be really, really cool.
I'm so surprised it's not limited to like X-Men characters doing more damage or X-Men allies or heroes. The flavor text is to me my X-Men, but I'm thinking I'm Avengers assembling with this guy maybe.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And so really this you could also minimum thought is 3 cost, it's a 2/3/2, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean like which phew, that's good. That's really good. And choose an enemy. Okay, I was going to say, is it each enemy? No, it's choose an enemy. So, I mean, like, if you do have a 4-player 40 hit point dragon, I mean, like now, now it just gets insane. I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
Cyclops here. This is really really cool.
Yeah, I know I've complained in the past, actually, like my most recent video, kind of, about how it felt like in Storm's pack, the X-Men allies maybe weren't quite as good as you'd expect because Uncanny X-Men was there boosting them. This is really good, so I'm
Oh yeah,
curious to see what else
uncanny.
we get. Yeah, Uncanny X-Men, with things are happening.
Oh my gosh. Alrighty, well that's sick. So Cyclops there. The other card that we have is Won't Stay Down. This is a 1 cost support. Play only if your identity has the X-Force or X-Men trait, max 1 per player. As an alter ego action, discard this card, return an X-Force or X-Men ally from your discard pile to your hand. That seems insane. That seems really, really good.
Uh, so this is like alter ego action. Basically make the call, but your enters play from hand effects work too. But
Yeah,
you could just spend it on something. So
it's more expensive, but it's a support. It sits on the table. You can use it whenever you want. So it's not reliant to having this card and an ally you want to play in your discard pile, which is the quote downside of make the call if that even is one. But Won't Stay Down, you can trigger this at any point. I think like the only awkward thing I see here is that you have to probably, unless you played like Honorary X Force or X Force Recruit, you have to play this in hero form. You can't play it in alter ego. But even still, just throw it down and have like you can recur it. I mean, like this feels like something. It's gonna be hard not to run the. Which like actually now that I say that out loud, we're getting to a lot of leadership X-Men cards that are like it's really hard not to run this, which makes them all a lot harder to run. So I guess
yeah,
there's that.
but I mean,
Wow.
what allies are we running this with? I mean, Professor X is an
Mm.
obvious one. You could just say alter ego forever, confusing and forwarding, right? Am I missing something? Discard, discard. As long as he's in your discard pile, you can keep doing that.
As
Uh,
long as someone's dropped an honorary X-Men on you, yeah,
well, you flip back up
yeah,
first, but
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
yeah, we've got beasts if you want the resources. I can get
Ooh,
Pixie to play from hand, so I'm getting Pixie back and then someone else back. I mean, this. I'm sure there's even more stuff. I'm not thinking about signature allies, but this is
this
very good.
this here makes me one of my 5 decks. I'll go ahead and give a spoiler here is going to be a Gambit deck. Um,
Oh
because
yeah.
if you go this, you can either grab Rogue, which gets really really cheap, or you can recur Beast for the molecular accelerations, and you can just build charge counters so fast. That's gonna.
What
Oh my
about
gosh, that's gonna be hype. That's hype. Like
what? What about Gambit with the rogue ally in mind?
yeah.
With go down swinging, you know, the leadership card, which does card deal damage
Ooh,
equal. It's gonna be
nice.
4 cost. You could play her for free. Yeah, just yeah, some
That
fun stuff here.
that's gonna be hype. This is also crazy now that I'm like just kind of digesting this card a little bit because you're effectively banking the resource. So because this is a support, it's not actually costing you a card from your hand. So if you play this next turn when you're in alter ego, you draw up to 6. You can trigger this. You're at 7. Mags flips up. You can get 8 resources plus digging deeps, just from like his. I mean that's insane because this does go to your hand. It's oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah. That's
Do you know what this is for Cyclops? It's Sunfire whenever there's an attachment.
mm,
Well, as long as he's
beautiful.
in the discard pile, but
Beautiful. Yeah.
there's so much.
It also synergizes really well with uh Magneto, where he's discarding a ton of cards. And so
Yeah.
his allies are going to be in oh my gosh, holy cow. This is
Yeah.
insane. These leader thankfully finally leadership's getting the boost it deserves. No.
It's been a long time coming. We've struggled for so long here.
This is sick. Being locked to the X-Force or X-Men trait makes a lot of sense for something this powerful.
Does it
Any
though? Because I
X
feel like those are already extremely strong characters.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Uh
Yeah.
what any X-Force targets that you're thinking about? But
I mean, I like what's the new one called? The 2 cost one. I completely forgot the name of it.
Marrow?
Marrow, that's the one. Marrow's good, just damage on
Yeah.
demand. That's really nice. I mean, the signature allies, they've got some good stuff as well. If I can ready up more with Angel as Psylocke, that's pretty huge. I can already recur Professor X every turn with um yeah, there's just I don't know. I am really surprised there. Oh, I can wait, I can now have Karma recur to steal minions on any character. Oh no, wait, aspect problems. Any Cyclops. Um yeah, I don't know. This is really good.
That's sick. All right, we got more cards. This is
More.
honestly, these blue
Just
cards so
enough.
far are way more exciting than the Magneto cards, and I am pretty pumped about Magneto. But we got
Magneto who?
call on iconic members like Phoenix. What is Phoenix doing?
What is Phoenix doing? Okay, so she's free cast as well. It's Jean Grey, 2 forwarding, 1 attack, 3 health. So just a 2 4 free health is pretty big in and of itself. Like that's good. Like that's useful to have. What is this crazy response going to be? I genuinely haven't read it yet. I'm terrified. Psionic trait is useful.
Yeah,
After Phoenix enters play, its response: choose an X-Men ally, ready the ally, and heal one. Oh, so she's just game time as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Okay, that's really good. With Cyclops giving the boosted damage to the taking, if you're playing these together, I mean, that's an expensive turn, but this is a very good card as well.
100%, yeah. And I mean, like, if you're thinking of like, well, you can't run her in Cyclops because of his signature ally. But if you are able to trigger this off of another player's ally, because you don't have to choose your ally, which I don't know how frequently you would have an exhausted ally for someone whose upcoming turn it is. But like, I mean, Wolverine, Gold Balls, anything that you can just get some acceleration out of. Professor X. Well, yeah, I mean, like you're going to be thwarting for a
A
ton at that
million.
point. Yeah, it's a very expensive turn to do that, but I mean, it's it's really interesting, especially if you're leaning into kind of the upgrades and everything that you got there. I want to run this with
Yeah.
like a Storm build and Cyclops and just like keep up the pressure. Like I just feel like there's some exploitable combos coming out and it seems like
Oh,
it's
for
going to be a
sure.
good time.
This one
I
seems less powerful than the other two,
Yeah.
I will just say quickly, but
Yeah.
it still looks very good.
Yeah, I was about to say I like Cyclops a little bit more than Phoenix, but I also like Phoenix. So which
Cyclops you need to build up to get the most value out of, right? But Phoenix you can just play as long as you've got one other X-Men in play, you're getting value. So it's kind of
yeah,
more immediate. So
yeah.
there are upsides here, but yeah.
Uh, trigger their powerful abilities once they're down. Return them to your hand. If Cyclops and Phoenix aren't enough, call on new recruits. New
What is
recruits.
this?
This
I've
is a
not
new player side scheme. Holy cow! Zero cost player side scheme. Play only if your identity has the X-Men trait. When defeated, each player chooses one set aside new ally and adds it to their hand.
okay.
What's a new
So
ally?
I don't know what a new ally is. It's not an old one, that's for sure. Uh you want me to find one, read one out? Because I
Yeah,
think
I
we've got
want you
one
to.
here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ah, am I gonna say the name right? Is it Anoli? Is it Anol? Is it I'm gonna call him Victor. So this is Victor. He's they're a 2 cost ally with 2 forwarding, 2 attack, the new trait. So this is obviously where this goes. And this is a linked keyword I can see. So it's like specialized training, the second card like that we've got. So 2 health with 2 forwarding is already pretty good in general. It's kind of like Eros in Justice is very playable, just especially on low forwarding heroes. If you have the mutant or X-Men trait, it's an extra +1 forwarding. It does not count against your ally limit. This is good. So this is just 6 forwarding basically. Um, it's interesting though that it's added to hand. This feels a lot less powerful than call for backup, despite being 0 cost. But 0 cost, 4 for 2. Now this is in your hand, and not counting against the ally limit is going to help you build up combos with Cyclops. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, yeah.
we
It'll be interesting because this is one of presumably four or potentially more that you can grab. This one feels like the big thwarter. Having the X-Men trait does not count against your ally limit. I mean, like now I really want to. This feels like a stinger type
yeah
situation for that Avengers have, but for X-Men, and so I think it's interesting. I think 3 thwart. If you have uncanny, you're getting 9 threat removal out of it. There's just a lot of stuff. If you want to combo this off of Phoenix to heal a damage, and you can just keep a Victor around for
Yeah.
a long time. You can bump up his health with team training. Like I think with the X-Men or mutant trait, Victor, I mean, it's a 2 cost 3. Now you do have to go through the side scheme. It's only 2 per player, which is a lot easier to trigger, but crazy.
I think this is pretty good. Thinking about it with Uncanny X-Men, yeah, I mean, and you've got the X-Men trait then obviously. So you're getting like 9 falling out of him across 3 turns potentially, there's
Which
things
in
happening here.
which in solo is just 3 side schemes.
Yeah, that's most of the game. It's not really, but it kind of is. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
very, very good. And this is just one. Presumably, I wonder, are they all going to be 2-2-2 stat line, but one gets a bonus for attack, one gets a bonus for defending, or are they going to be more varied? There's probably almost certainly going to be 4 of them, I have to imagine.
There has to
Um,
be minimum 4, right? Like because it's a linked card, it's to the new recruit side scheme. So
yeah. I like the way they've balanced it, though, in that you have to be an X-Men to play the player side scheme, but then if you've got an Avenger on your team, he can, play Victor, like we're looking at here, but he just won't get the bonuses for having the trait. So it's still useful.
my another rules question for the rules master. Can I use Cable's setup ability to put new recruits into play even though I don't have the X-Men trait? I think so.
Puts into play typically
I
means it
think
isn't
so.
played, so I think that's almost 100% certain.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that's the best use, but it is a way to have your Cable player get it into play because Cable does want to deal with the side schemes, and so it's kind of interesting that the side
Yeah.
scheme player can't play it.
Yeah. No, I looked at the wording for Cable, and 100% you can get past it with his setup abilities. So yeah, that's very interesting.
I mean, like it's also a pretty high impact 2 threat per player side scheme, and so I think there is an argument for some of those builds to for some of the Cable builds to run this and have it as the setup, just to blitz it down quickly, get the plus to everything that you have, and get allies out. So or not out, but in your hand. Get them into the deck, able to be
I'm
played.
Hmm. I'm gonna say I think cool for backup. I think Eclipse is it, but at the same time, you would be able to do this, and it would be viable. It could be like a fun combo, so you could do something. Yeah, really interesting.
I'll be
They've gone
interested.
crazy with these leadership cards.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be interested to see any more of the new allies. New allies is a weird trait. New is a weird trait. It feels
It
like
is just bizarre.
yeah, because I feel like we're gonna have trouble with new allies 2 years from now. Because they're
Capital new.
yeah, capital new. The last card that we have for player cards here is Noble Sacrifice, which is Magneto. You want to read this one for us?
Okay, this is already giving me go down swinging kind of impression,
Yeah.
which I already talked about earlier. So it's a 1 cost event, and it is a tactic. So Cyclops can get this with tactical brilliance. His forwarding event back into hand. So it's a little small consideration. Discard an ally you control. Okay, so it's exactly like go down swinging. Heal damage from your hero equal to the ally's printed hit points, and give your hero a tough status card. What? I mean, okay, so losing an ally, which you could have chump blocked with, is kind of like losing a tough status card, right? That's the trade off. So you're trading a chump block for a tough, but you're also getting healing. So you're really paying the 1 cost here, and the card itself is kind of the healing you're paying for.
Hmm.
But on a 4 cost ally or something, that's pretty okay. That's maybe what you'd expect, but getting healing in hero form is really
Well,
accessible.
it's hit points, not cost, right?
Did I read it wrong? Oh, printed hit points. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, this is a little bit less crazy.
But
It's still
still,
accessible. Okay, this is more reasonable. I do like that they are kind of paying you back for getting rid of an ally to give you that tough card. Okay. Okay.
yeah, I like that we're seeing more leadership cards that deal with de-incentivizing chump blocking, right? Noble
Yeah.
Sacrifice, you're not going to be able to chump block, but now like Hulk, 2 cost, 5 damage, so you can trigger this off of Spider Woman, make the call from your aggression player. Captain America, I think, has 6 hit points, right?
I think Captain America has 4 hit
4.
points, but we have US Agent who has 5 hit points, I believe. That's really yeah. There are gonna be some good combos here. It's a very interesting card.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I think this is an event that makes it a little bit harder for me to trigger. I think, um,
Yeah, I'm
which
coming down a bit from it.
yeah, Yeah, I could see this as a, you know, Professor X noble sacrificing if in a solo game if you have to flip down to alter ego, you play X, you aren't going to lose
Yeah,
the
that's
chump.
pretty good actually.
But it's tough. It's tough because you have to have this in hand. You have to have X in hand. I guess you don't have to have X in hand. You can make the call. It feels like there's gonna be a lot of recursion here.
You could just play won't stay down.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
I suppose the turn order is wrong, but not for somebody. I don't know, but
Yeah.
really, really interesting. Um, Not as
Right.
powerful as I first thought, I will say, because it's the printed hit points, so Uncanny X-Men's boost won't count. Um,
But
there's
damage
not a
also
lot.
doesn't count, right?
Damage will
So
count?
no, it won't. It won't. So like
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
have 1 health left, you're still doing 5 damage with Hulk.
Well, this is healing damage. Yeah, 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 yeah. I like it. It's very interesting to have that hero form healing accessible. Um,
I
we'll
don't
see how
know.
this one goes.
Yeah, I straight up read heal as deal. I do not know why I did that. That's less good. Now,
We
okay.
we both read into this kind of wrong.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's really funny. Okay, scratch that. Yeah, I don't like it as much.
No, I mean, I do think it will have uses. You know, there are some decks with Uncanny X-Men that you just have too many X-Men, you're at your ally limit. So rather than overwrite one, you can do this instead. So it's kind of maybe I throw one copy in here, maybe two at a push, just to be efficient on a swarm kind of flood the board deck.
Yeah.
And there might be new allies we haven't seen that combo with this. You never know. Uh,
It is a
and maybe there's
like I think the interesting thing here is the Cyclops. It is a tactic. It's not an upgrade, so you can't grab it with like his constant training ability, but you can grab it with tactical brilliance.
yeah.
And so if you have that, it's effectively another copy of this, and Cyclops is already typically running into an ally limit problem. And so, but I don't really have issues with damage on Cyclops because he has an ally limit problem, so I'm chump blocking with a lot of allies. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I think the Groot ally goes pretty well with this because it's got 6 health
Oh
printed.
yeah, yeah.
So that's one that stands out. But yeah,
Groot and
interesting card.
Rocket, because Rocket sometimes has a pretty big issue with damage. And so if you can use Groot, chump block for ever until he's not going to be able to heal himself, and then you can heal Rocket. Ooh, that's fun.
There's some stuff here.
That's fun. Okay, so those are the leadership cards. We kind of already talked a little bit about it, but seem pretty solid to you?
I mean, that Cyclops card, I'm never going to use it, won't stay down. Why isn't it 0 cost usable in both forms twice per turn? I don't know. That's crazy. No, these are, on the whole, extremely good. I would, Noble Sacrifice, definitely the worst looking one here. But even then, I think it will have, like, niche cases that makes it an interesting card worth having in the card pool.
Yeah.
It's just a fast way. If I talked about how Gambit, if you keep playing Rogue and recurring hurt, you have more health than you can get through quickly sometimes. Just sacrifice her for 4 health and another tough and do it again. So there's interesting things there. She have 3 or 4 health, 3, I think, but still interesting.
Yeah. I'm really
Yeah,
excited to see more of the new allies. The capital N new allies.
I was going to say, what allies have we not seen revealed? Oh yeah, those allies. Do you have a favorite card here of the leadershipy stuff?
It's between Cyclops and Won't Stay Down. I think I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Cyclops. I think Won't Stay Down is just more powerful, but Cyclops feels more exploitable, and pun very much intended. I'm very proud of that one. Exploit weakness, but but I like the combo plays, and I feel like Won't Stay Down leads into combo plays, but Cyclops feels like one that you can kind of finesse and get one over on the villain, and it feels like it's gonna be a really fun one to trigger.
Yeah, I like combo cards, so I like Cyclops. Won't Stay Down just seems. I don't
Decent.
play a lot of the recursion cards we have already sometimes because I feel like they're too good. You know what I mean? Sometimes I will, but yeah, Cyclops is a card that I'm excited for, especially.
Yeah, I think there is going to be something like a Won't Stay Down, Med Lab, Make the Call, Rapid Response, Regroup. Just like you could get dumb real quick, and I think like you said it earlier, go down swinging with like that level of recursion makes it really really interesting.
It's just kind of crazy to me. Like if I put this side by side with Medlab, it
Yeah,
paints a very interesting picture. Um, yeah, good card, kind of good,
kind of good.
kind of
So,
good.
so we do get a modular set. We got power
Ooh.
and decadence. So this is going to be the Hellfire modular set coming in with 5 cards. So let's talk about this for a little bit. We've got the inner circle. I don't remember who read the last one, so I'll just jump in and read the side scheme. Comes in with 4 threat, the most frustrating amount of threat for a solo player. When revealed, place 2 additional threat here for each Hellfire card in play. So there you go. Does that trigger itself? I think it does, because it's a win revealed. It's already revealed, so it
It
would
doesn't
be
have the
6.
Hellfire trait.
But it is. Are they? Is that what they're saying? It is a Hellfire traded card, or it's from the modular set?
Bolded normally means trait. I
Okay.
guess we'll see. That is confusing though. So that's a great point that we picked up on that here. So I mean,
um.
just based on threat 4, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. It has a amplified token. Probably not the worst side scheme I've ever seen in my life.
No. It's
Uh.
interesting that this is the Hellfire kind of set. So I know people theorize about getting this as a scenario pack. No scenario pack yet in sight. Uh, yeah.
And like I think to just quickly touch on that, do we would normally have gotten a scenario pack announcement before this last hero was revealed, correct?
I think so. I mean, I think they've mixed it up at different places, different waves. But yeah, normally last time we got it in the middle of the wave, kind of alongside Storm and Wolverine, after Phoenix and Cyclops, but before Rogue and Gambit. That was when we got the last one because we get them every 2 waves. So yeah, this is a little bit unusual. And it would be strange to me if they did X-Men and didn't do a scenario pack, but at the same time, you do have 3 expansions on them. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. The tough as nails, Sebastian Shaw. You want to read what this minion's doing to us?
Yeah, so let's have a look at this guy. So Sebastian Shaw, 1 scheme, 2 attack, 5 health. So he's got a fair amount of health, but he's not too tough to deal with, except he's got toughness and villainous. So
Never mind.
pretty considerable minion here. Force response is after he's attacked, give him a face down boost card, and he cannot be attacked again this phase.
Ooh.
That's really okay. So I definitely it's like 5 health, 2 attack. This is kind of I can deal with this. No, I cannot. So you're gonna knock the tough
Oof.
off, can't hit him again. Then you need to make sure that you're doing 5 in 1 hit, but you can't hit him again. Piercing characters are laughing at this guy. Everyone else isn't really. He's gonna stick around. That's very interesting. And you're giving him that boost card too, on top of villainous. So this guy's gonna hit like a truck.
I like metal shards more now.
Yeah.
Take them.
But it doesn't
Take
have
them out.
piercing though.
It doesn't have piercing. That's pretty mean. So probably for most encounters, he's around minimum for 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think if he's around for more than 2, you have a big problem.
Yeah. Yikes. Give him a face on boost guard. Yo,
And he
that's
has 3
tough.
boost icons, and the
Yeah.
side scheme has 2, so this seems like a very high boost icon mod set.
Wow. While the swift striking Celine, who's a 1/1 quick strike villainous, allies cannot attack Celine. That's kind of an interesting. It does have a boost effect to discard an ally you control. Now, the timing on this is brutal because the boost effect takes place before the attack goes through. So if you are chump blocking with one ally, that ally is no longer around and that attack is undefended. So that's mean. That's a mean boost effect. Honestly, I think the boost effect here is worse than the card itself.
Yeah, I mean, the card itself isn't too good either. I mean, like, quick strike and then triggering villainous. If you've put this in a set that also has a lot of other boost effects in it, this set could be dangerous. And allies cannot attack Celine is really interesting. I actually hope they use that more. That's a really interesting thing to include on a card.
I guess like I don't know the thematics behind that. Do you?
I don't know who this is. I know Sebastian Shaw, like, vaguely a little bit. I've seen some, things with him in it. This I do not know.
Yeah, so in the comments, let us know if there's a thematic reason why Celine cannot be attacked by allies, because I think that would be really cool if there was a thematic tie in there. The 1/1 is much, yeah, yeah. That boost is mean. Oh, that's gonna be something you have to look out for. Either have more allies on the table, or be ready to take it.
It's
Oh my
interesting that
gosh.
it kind of punishes allies, but you kind of need more to. I actually no. Yeah, you kind of need more to make sure if you're chump blocking it's safe. So it's kind of yeah, interesting there. So what's the final card we've got?
The final card is just the initial side scheme that we read, the inner
Oh,
circle.
okay.
Um,
Okay. I was
so
excited for more.
yeah, yeah. Which kind of leans into, especially Sebastian. Like if you flip the inner circle, he's gonna be around for a while. It seems like Selena is gonna be around for a while, especially if you're leaning into like a boot camp or a heavy ally damage strategy, that you're gonna get more threat. They are both Sebastian and Selena are both Hellfire traded, so I'm starting to think that that bolded Hellfire is what you were saying, where it
I
is
think so.
traded cards. We have not seen two of the cards in the set, but I like where the power level of this set is. It's not oppressive. It's not easy. It feels like a pretty challenging modular set without being incredibly overpowered, and so it feels like a good one that will be nice to add into the mix.
Yeah, I get the same impression. It's above average, but it's fine. It's it's not gonna crush your entire soul. Just a part of it.
Yeah. So the last paragraph here, it does sound like the Magneto Hero Pack is coming to us in November. And so we will have the final pack of the wave, barring any scenario packs that may or may not be coming before the end of the year. And so the year of 2024 will wrap up the mutant cycle. But I asked you this last time. I'm going to ask you it again. You think you're going to buy this pack?
Well, I mean, part of me wants to say yeah, just for the leadership stuff, but honestly, yes, I do think Magneto's very interesting. We got so far away from Magneto now. I'm like, what does he do again? But the
Yeah.
discarding, digging deep, super fun. I'm really excited to see what other magnetic stuff there is because I'm sure there's gonna be another couple of really cool cards there.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like
and
this.
I'm excited to see your deep dive because you'll go in and look at all of the card counts and see exactly what we are missing and what we may theorize to get. But that is Magneto. So we've got the 4 heroes announced now. We do have Iceman, Jubilee is coming here soon, Nightcrawler, and then Magneto. Tell us your thoughts about Magneto down in the comments. What are you excited for? Are you excited that we're seeing Magneto, or do you wish we were seeing somebody else? Um, yeah, let us know what your thoughts around are these new cards. And Villain, good time. We have a new podcast coming out on Monday that we just finished recording. But until next time, I hope you all have a fantastic time. Thanks for coming on, Villain.
Yeah, fun to be here.
Excellent.
Bye.
Cool. See ya. Ah!